Welcome to the Mustang Mood, everybody. Episode 2.
Yeah.
We back.
Guys, I have some bad news.
Oh.
What?
So I know last episode we said that we're the number 2 podcast in SMU sports.
Yeah.
I looked. Not only does On3 have a podcast, but 24/7 Sports has a podcast as well. So we've been downgraded.
Why is that bad news for us?
3.
It sounds like bad news for one of them.
Well, yes, but as of right now, we're number 3, not number 2.
Yikes.
So
Yeah,
take it off your resumes. Take it off your Instagram bios. We're no longer number 2.
I'm not worried about 247 Sports. Just saying.
Same.
On 3, yes, maybe, but
We support Billy. I don't know about
We do.
that.
Yeah, I like Billy.
yeah, we
I
like Billy. Yeah.
Anyways, we also realized that last episode we didn't do any introductions at all. So y'all just listened to a whole hour and 17 minutes of people you don't know talking. So to start, my name's Walker Harris. I graduated in 2021, I think. And then I went to grad school, so I graduated in 2022 from there. Studied accounting, got my master's in accounting. I'm a huge SMU football fan, huge sports fan. Ben?
Yeah, my name's Ben De Leon. I graduated in 2020, and nobody wants to hear this, but I did do grad school at Baylor. So,
Boo.
yeah, I know. Sorry about that. So if there's any Baylor hate, my mom told me I had to defend them. So,
And why are you an OU fan?
I'm also an OU fan. I was raised that way. My dad did not go there, but he raised me a religious OU fan. So, but I am very moody. So we'll see how this goes. But I'm really angry after but anyways, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll definitely get to that.
Yeah,
Do not
yeah.
worry at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up? I'm Jake Keeler. I graduated in 2021 as well. Studied mechanical engineering. I was in the band all 4 years and love
Band
SMU
boy.
sports. Yeah.
Nice,
All sports in
nice.
general.
All right.
Yeah, my name is Brian Kim. Walker and I lived together in college. I graduated undergrad in 2020 with my degree in business and got my master's in business analytics and graduated in 2021. But something for the audience to know about Ben, we have a running joke in our friend group that he's literally the biggest bandwagon fan of all time. Like, ask him any sports team, he's the Dallas Cowboys, Lakers, Yankees fan, and he's classic.
That is
classic
not
Ben De
true.
Leon.
That's not true. There are some bandwagon tendencies, but I hate the Lakers and I hate the Cowboys. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of things that you hate, do you want to talk about what happened?
Oh, gosh. Okay, so we're going to talk about the last game first, if we want to do that. I mean, I guess now that Temple made a run, it doesn't look as bad, but
No, it's so bad.
I still think it's really
They're
bad.
about to lose now, so.
we were so bad in that game. I mean, I feel like in the first half, the first like 10 minutes, we looked really good. I was like, wow, we look impressive. We can make a run. And then really when Chuck Harris went out, it kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's Chuck Harris's fault that we lost. That's my biggest thing. Like, we can't have our program be dependent on, like, oh, we lost this game because Chuck Harris got injured,
Yeah.
because that's false. We've lost, like, to Wichita State in the regular season. We lost 5 of our last 6 games to end the season. Like, Rob, I think I am fully on the fire Rob Lanier train. Like, 100%.
Okay.
I've
Oh,
done,
really?
yeah.
Who else is on that train?
me.
Jay.
Bit? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Yeah.
it. So, what do you got,
So
Brian?
here's my take. So every coach gets either fired a year too late or a year too early, right? There's very, very rare situations where you're like, oh yeah, this coach got fired at the perfect time. And we think about the mistake that SMU basketball made with Jankovic for what? 6 years?
Way too long.
Yep.
Jankovic got fired maybe 2 to 3 years too late. And
Yes.
it absolutely tanked our program. We were perennially ranked in the top 15 for like 3 or 4 years. We had a stacked roster, and then we have Jankovic in our program for too long. We cannot make that mistake again where we have Rob Lanier for a year or 2 years too long because he made an artificial big improvement from the previous year. And as college sports is changing, we cannot have, like, we can't afford a basketball program to tank. Like, if we want to eventually be
That's fair.
included in the third power conference, right? Let's say the ACC dissolves. Let's say the ACC and Big 12 want to get all the good programs together. We have to be relevant to be included in this. So I did some research on Rob Lanier's coaching career. And let me tell you, there's no reason we should have even hired this guy. In 2004, I believe he got hired by Siena, some school in Albany, New York. They're in the MAC. Total mid-major program, right? And they're historically a pretty decent program. Rob Lanier gets hired there. He goes 17-19. He does a magical run, wins the conference tournament, and then gets into the NCAA tournament, quote unquote, wins a game because they win the first 4 and then they lose in the first round. The next year they go 21-11. They go into the NIT. The next year they go 14-16, and then the fourth year he goes 6-24. Program worst, 24 losses.
Wow.
In the history of the program.
That's bad.
The next year, they hired a coach. They go 15 wins, 20 wins, 23 wins, 27 wins, and 27 wins. It gets hired by Iowa.
Wow.
So that's the current Iowa coach. So now let's talk about Georgia State. He gets hired, goes 19-13, goes 16-6, goes 18-11. During those years during COVID, so take that with a grain of salt. You know, he gets into the tournament as a 16 seed, gets spanked by Gonzaga. NC State, before they hired Rob Lanier, they made the NCAA tournament 4 times since 2015. They make the NCAA tournament 3 times, only 1 from Rob. Before Rob Lanier, they had a coach named Ron Hunter, right? He does decently well at Georgia State, gets hired by Tulane. Tulane's been mediocre since they hired Ron Hunter.
Yeah.
SMU is a better program than Tulane. So therefore, Rob Lanier should have better resources, better recruits to do better at SMU than Ron Hunter ever did. That he goes 10-22 after we never had a losing record for 10 years. We hire Rob Lanier and we go 10-22, absolutely pathetic. And then we go 21-12. We go 11-7 in the watered down AAC with no top tier programs.
Yeah,
that's all we need to know. He's the only SMU head coach to not win an AAC tournament game in a season. He did that 2 seasons in a row.
And those are the only 2 seasons that we've ever not won a game in the AAC tournament.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since AAC existed.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's a very strong argument, Brian.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it.
I mean, because when you think about it, you can say, oh, he jumped from 10 wins, his first year, we were in a bad spot. We only had 10 wins, and then he jumped to 20 wins. And if you look at that and you're like, wow, he doubled his wins in a season.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not taking into account the externalities of the AAC sucks at basketball.
We're a pretty bad conference this year.
So that you're swaying me a little bit. I still don't know if we should fire him yet.
I think a big thing is where we look in the computer rankings, the net rankings. We should be performing so much better than we are. We have, those things, what they say is we have talent, but when we can't meet the expectations, I was just looking at the net rankings. We're the second best net ranked team in the American this season, yet we lost in the first round of the tournament.
And we were a 6th seed.
The 6th seed.
Yeah.
And so when you can't meet that expectation, we have the talent on the team. I know we're going to talk about later the talent on the team. Okay, we weren't going to win the national championship this year with this talent, but we could have performed so much better than we actually performed, especially in the last month. And then when you shoot, okay, let's see. Let me make sure I get this right. There are 351 Division I basketball teams. SMU is 296th in free throw percentage.
Oh my gosh.
Horrible.
And
that's crazy.
I mean, our high school team had better free throw percentage.
We shot 68%, 68.3%.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
In context, I shot 80% free throw when I was a freshman in high school. Just gonna say it.
Yeah, that's.
He was 4 or 5.
I mean, they're free. They're free.
They're free. Exactly.
Yeah.
Free.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think something I'll add.
I think
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ben.
Okay. Something I'll add to is we should get better, right? We'll get more recruits and stuff. But for example, I've done some research on our recruiting, and in 2014, back in the glory days, we were 17th in the nation. This is all according to On3. 2015, 36, and then of course the Larry Brown stuff happened. We were 150 in 2016, and then 2017, 85, 2018, 119, 2019, 58, 2020 we were 188th, 2021, 82nd, and then 22 and 23 we didn't even have any high schoolers; they're all transfers, and then this year we have 60th. So what I was noticing is, our 60th ranked recruiting class for this year is 14th in the ACC, right? So we're already almost dead last.
Yeah.
And if you add on to that the fact that we were literally a middle AAC team, how can we jump up into the ACC and not be in last place, basically?
We will be. We will be.
We're going to be last in the conference in recruiting. We're already coming in worse than everybody else,
Yeah.
in terms of what we have right now. I just don't think we can afford to, let's stay the ship. I heard some people saying on the Pony Express that, our recruiting is getting better. And I'm like, well, 82nd to 60th, I mean, that's better. But like 60th, I mean, come
That's
on.
bad.
That's not good.
I think one big issue is like, where's the Moody Magic? Like, where's the fan base? Because I didn't help. I only went to one game, even though I bought season tickets, but it was really for next year that I bought the tickets. But like,
but there was no reason for you to go.
No, exactly. Like, I haven't heard of any kind of engagement between the team and the coaches and the SMU fans and the student body. I haven't heard of any of that.
Yeah.
And it's like, football is killing it right now with their engagement with the student body and with the fans.
Yeah, 100% agree.
And they've got the hype because, I mean, partially because like we're good and we're going to a big conference, but if you look at basketball, you'd think you would get a similar deal because it's like we've been good. We have a history of being good. I've seen pictures of, back in the Larry Brown days with
sellout crowds.
Yeah, sellout crowds. Tony Romo in the stands.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like we've done that before. We could do it, but I think we're missing a bit on like the engagement and like getting the fans together to support the team. And without that, then I mean, where are the donors? Like, if I go in and see empty stands and a bunch of people that don't care, I'm not going to care. I'm not going to, if I'm a big donor, I'm not going to donate money to make the team better because it doesn't seem like there's any support behind it.
And I think that's why we can't stay the ship. Like, if we were still in the AAC next year, I'd say, okay, we can give Rob another chance. I mean, it's only 2 years. We were in a really bad spot, to be fair to him, before because of all of the scholarship revoking and stuff and, of course, what Jank did. But because we're going into a new conference, I feel like we need to make a splash. And, like, there's no hype around the program right now, like you're saying with this. Yeah. We need somebody. Obviously, I mean, we're not going to pull somebody that, North Carolina can pull, but, like, something that gets the fan base excited again. It's like, okay, this is why I want to buy my season tickets because the team looked pretty bad. The other thing I was saying, too, about Lanier, like, we improved. And I think if we had, like, kind of shown improvement towards the end, I would have been like, okay, maybe. But, like, we started off decent, and then we fell apart at the end. And that's why I think, like, it's been just negativity, negative after negative, and that's why I feel like there's no reason to go on.
Yeah.
However, I think we will.
Did y'all go to the Memphis game? Did you go to Memphis?
No, I didn't make it.
Because it was pretty electric, wasn't it?
Yeah, I heard good things about that.
Yeah.
It wasn't electric like USC was
back
in
in the day.
2017.
Yeah.
But
that's true.
Yeah.
Which I think is the death. I mean, that was the last.
After that, yeah.
It went completely downhill.
That was the best game I've ever been to in that arena. Just like energy-wise, game-wise, I mean, we ended up beating them, which was fun. But
was that the same year that we made the tournament?
No, it was the year after they beat us the year after they beat us in the first round. Yeah,
that game made me so mad. I can't even.
That was your freshman year.
I remember. Yeah. I remember like being in the the mob squad or whatever.
Yeah,
and it was hard to get tickets at the time. Like you had to like line up and stuff. I doubt it's that way.
I went to so many men's soccer games.
I went to soccer games to get access to those tickets.
That's true.
People would never do that. Now they're giving them out to anybody that'll show up.
Yeah. Free Canes. Come on, please come.
Please. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think here's the thing. Like, what's the argument of keeping Rob, right? It's like, oh, we only had him for 2 years. The program was in a bad spot. But I was doing some research of coaches that had rough starts and ended up being good, right? That's the argument. Like, oh, you need to give the coach more time. 2 years is not enough. It was like he has to get his recruits in, blah, blah, blah. Well, I was looking at coaches that are actually successful after a poor 2 to 3 year start, right? If they had previous head coaching gigs, they were wildly successful. And I just read Rob Lanier's coaching history. Mediocre at best.
Yeah.
So what's the argument of keeping him? Yeah, I mean, we hear about his like hard-nosed coaching. We hear about like him changing the culture. I mean, that's all great, but that doesn't win basketball games. That's not going to get us to a place where our program's going to be energized. That's not going to get us to a place where we're not going to be the absolute clowns and doormats of the ACC. Like right now, we're already going in like being clowns already. Like every school knows that we're not taking any money. We're buying our way in. So we can't go in and be the doormat of the league. We have to go in and at least be mediocre.
Yeah.
And I don't think Rob will even get us there.
I feel like right now too, like my expectations right now are to miss the ACC tournament. Like that's what I expect from us where we're at right now. And I mean, I don't know. Are we okay with that? Like, Rick Hart, is that okay? Are you okay with that? Like, do we want to be a serious program or not? That's the question we have to ask ourselves here. Yeah. It's kind of ruthless, maybe a little unfair to Rob, but like, do we want to be real or not? That's what I would ask.
Yeah. I agree. I agree 100%. We're not meeting expectations. I don't think Rob could get us there at all. And so where are we wanting to put our priorities? And if we have to make priorities, I'll take football over basketball every day.
Any day.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
That's true.
That's okay. If the offer on the table is, hey, 11-1, we're being extremely competitive in ACC football, and we're a doormat, and if we make the ACC tournament, that's a good year for us. I would take that.
Yeah.
But if we're trying to be an excellent program all around, which I think we should be, Rob's not the guy.
I think y'all have swayed me a little bit. But who? Okay,
what were you thinking? Why'd you want to keep him?
Well, I mean, I think all of the arguments that y'all have kind of debunked a bit, where it's like he needs another chance. You know, he improved greatly from year 1 to year 2.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is a whole nother animal that we're getting ourselves into. And yeah, I mean, I don't want us to be the bottom 3 to get cut out of the ACC tournament. Like,
That would really suck.
that would not be cool. So do y'all have any ideas of who you'd want to replace him?
I like the idea of Mark Adams.
Who's that? I don't really follow.
He was the
college basketball.
Coach?
No, he's Tech's old coach. He got fired from Tech last year. And he's now like the defensive analyst at ECU. I think he could be good. He was like Chad Morris, or sorry, not Chad Morris.
Chad Morris, I'm out.
Chad
No
Morris.
thanks.
He was Chris Beard's right-hand man when they made the national championship run. And so I think highly of him. I think highly of him as a man, what I've heard about him and his family. And if we're going to suck, let's suck with a good guy at the helm.
True.
Not saying anything about Rob. I don't know him the same way that I've heard great things about Mark. I think he'd be a good hire, but I think there are several out there that are really succeeding in the lower levels. And like Brian was saying, let's get someone who's succeeding right now and
That's true. Yeah.
bring him up.
Can I throw out a name?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Greg Marshall. This guy, I don't know if you guys remember, Wichita State used
yeah.
to be an elite basketball program. And I was looking at, okay, why did he get fired? Like, why is he no longer the coach at Wichita State? I think there was some scandal or there was some investigation, and we know that we like to hire coaches. That
That's
have
right
good
up our
reputation.
lane.
I'm not
Yeah.
scared of any scandals. That's for
Pony
sure.
up the cash, baby.
And it says Marshall actually didn't get fired. He resigned. And he is actually still getting paid by Wichita State, $7.75 million over the next 6 years. So
we can get him cheap.
look at that. And
Yeah.
he's not coaching. I don't know why we wouldn't coach him. I don't know why we wouldn't hire him. We hired Larry Brown, absolutely turned our program around.
And then
Rick
kinda destroy
Hart.
it after, but
Rick Hart, let's hire Greg Marshall. Let's make SMU basketball great again.
I have one more.
Marshall resigns as coach of Wichita State after multiple allegations of verbal and physical abuse spanning years.
2020, is that when it happened?
2020, yeah.
Okay.
That's
He's been out
rough.
of a job since then.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't even know he wasn't still there. I guess it makes sense because they're not good anymore. But another name that I've heard is Will Wade. He coached at LSU. He was doing quite well, and then he had some allegations. So another guy who's in some. But
Are these our only options, guys? I mean,
he's at McNeese State right now. They are 28-3, and they won their conference.
Yeah.
Come on.
However, I think that's probably gonna be a popular name. I'm not sure if we could pull that. I don't really know exactly who else might be interested, but that's another name that I've heard as a possibility. But the question is Rick Hart going to do anything? I don't think so. I'd be surprised, but
I think we need to direct our opinions to David Miller. Like David Miller, like the court's named after him, right? Like he has tons of influence on. I think he played basketball at SMU.
Yeah, he did.
Like David Miller, like let's have one more good program. Let's have a few more golden years. Like he's ending his career. He's not going to be like super involved in the program forever. Let's get Rick Hart to make some moves. Let's have a name that we're excited about. Let's have a name that's the program and the fans and the alumni and the students can unite around and like pack the stadium. Let's have a packed stadium against UNC, against Duke, against Florida State, against Clemson.
I mean, too bad
women's
UNC's
against.
Yeah, I was going to say, too bad UNC's not coming to play, but Duke?
yeah.
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 There's no excuse for us to not fill up Moody
No.
for Duke.
No.
and
it should be all SMU
Honestly, like
fans.
even if you're an SMU fan and you're really there to watch Duke, that's okay. Just like wear some SMU gear and just go and fill out the stadium, please.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. At least Duke is blue, so the stadium will look more blue.
That's true. Just wear
Facts.
blue. Just wear blue and cheer for both
Yeah.
teams. We just need to fill out. There needs to be energy.
But I
think
agree.
this year we had a
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
No, I was gonna just say this. Like, I heard we played A&M earlier in the season, even though we lost. I heard from a lot of A&M fans that they actually really like our stadium, right? Like, I think there's potential to have like a really, really cool, like amazing college basketball environment. The thing that I heard the most from A&M fans is that SMU's basketball stadium is the perfect college basketball stadium.
Really? I mean, I know it's
Yeah.
pretty
I
small. It's pretty small compared to everyone else.
And that's where it's moving. Like Baylor's new stadium is a lot smaller.
Really?
Cameron Indoor is tiny too. So they're moving
Yeah.
into like smaller. That's
Oh,
just kind of where college basketball's
Yeah,
heading.
Baylor
So
moved down from like 10
Yeah.
to 7.5. I think we're right at 7.
yeah,
yeah, maybe a little bit
and
less.
it's
but
really
yeah.
nice too. But
'Cause
yeah,
I have a buddy at work who went to UNC, and I told him the size of my stadium. He's like, "That's it."
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I'd rather have
UNC
a
is
small.
different.
I'd rather have a small stadium we can fill rather than 4.
Oh, 100%,
It's
yeah.
still small,
Yeah.
but like we can't fill it.
Yeah, no, like
Right.
there's no way we would ever fill it.
Phil Ford.
There's no way we'd fill like a 20,
Yeah.
30,000 person.
No,
Yeah. Tech has
Arena.
23, I think, is their seating, which
Yeah.
is
that's
crazy
pretty
to me.
big.
Yeah, that is
like
big.
for college basketball.
I think it's the biggest in the Big 12. I think
Really?
even the new Moody
Bigger
Center
than
is
Kansas?
smaller than it. Yeah, Kansas is the same as UNC or as Duke. I think it's a
wow.
pretty small arena. They're both really old. So
Huh.
let's see.
That's cool.
We'll look up some numbers.
Get the stats, Jay, with the stats, stat man.
Yeah. But yeah, I think to sum it up, we need some like passion and energy back into the fan base. And I think, I mean, I don't know. Brian mentioned Lanier, like, you know, he's very like culture driven and stuff like that. But like at least when I'm watching, like he's just very stoic, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I do think like there's a need for like something to get the fans back into it, and maybe somebody that's a little more young, passionate, fiery. He doesn't have to be young, I guess, but like more passionate, fiery. Somebody that the fans can get excited about would be, I think, a huge win going into probably the biggest offseason we've had in a long time. So,
Yeah. So what do we need to, other than getting a new coach? How does the team need to look different? Because watching this last game, like we just completely crumbled at the end of the season. Watching this last game, I saw some very terrible shot selection. Honestly, some bad shooting form. Obviously, free throws.
yep.
So what else? What else?
I think we have good players, right? I think we have we have one good shooter. We need more, obviously. Chuck Harris, I think, is a good point guard. I think he's a point guard that could start and be an impactful point guard in the ACC.
Yeah.
And Zurich Phelps, I think he's like our big name, right, quote unquote. And he's been wildly disappointing this year. And when I saw him his freshman year or his first year at SMU, he had lots of shades of Shake Milton. Like Shake Milton was an amazing college player.
Yeah.
We honestly failed him
I loved
by
watching
not
him
putting
play.
talent around him. I think he has that potential. I don't know if he's gonna stay at SMU for his final year. I think he has one more year of eligibility.
Yeah.
But we need him to take the next step. If we're not gonna add like a star wing or a star point guard from the transfer portal, which I don't even know why they would want to come to SMU from the state of our program, we need Phelps to make a jump. We need him to add a 3-point shot, and we need him to shoot at least 80% of the free throw line.
Yeah. Listen to this. So all 4 years, he shot under 39% from the field. Last year, he shot 30.9 from 3. This year, he shot 21.8% from 3.
Jeez,
That
so
is
bad.
really
that is
bad.
I mean, that's
Really bad.
that's worse than me when I play with my dad and his friends. Honestly.
Yeah.
There's
I
not
mean-
7,000 people there watching you.
Yeah,
There's also
and
not
maybe
7,000 people.
maybe
That's true,
maybe the
that's true.
defense isn't as stout either, but still,
Yeah.
that's you need it, if you want to be a star player on a team, you got to shoot better than that.
It's pretty
Yeah.
rough.
And
And that's
I-
about what we shot as a team, like 28% or so from beyond the arc.
It's bad. I do think you're onto something though there, Brian. Like I think we might have talked about this last pod. I was really expecting Zurich Phelps to take a step up this year, and he didn't. And I mean, he still has another year to prove me wrong, but I definitely think like if he's gonna be your best player, you're not to be rude, but like you're not like we need somebody better to like be our best player. Like I think you're right. I think Chuck Harris and him could be two like really great like side players, but I don't think we have like a true star on our roster, which, you know, I don't know, maybe teams like us aren't going to have that, but I think that's a big problem.
But we
too.
have in the past.
We have. I feel like we
Shea.
could. Yeah.
Yeah,
Shake and Shemmy, yeah, that's true.
I mean Kendrick Davis too. Kendrick Davis, I would
Yeah.
consider to be a star. He was really good.
I'm not going to
I
say
think
anything.
what SMU basketball.
No, he was really good. I'm just bitter.
He just had no talent around him. Like
That's
I saw.
true.
Remember we all went. I think we all went to the AAC tournament game against Memphis, and we
Yeah.
had a chance to make the tournament.
Yeah.
And then it was really Jenks last year. Kendrick Davis was good, but the Memphis big guys were just shutting.
Well,
him down.
they shut him down. Like that's all you had to do, just take him out of the game, and you're gonna win. So that's true.
Then he said, if you can't beat him, join him. So
Yeah.
And then he joined Memphis.
And now where is he?
I don't know.
I think he's gone. I think he's done.
He's either in the G League or overseas. Anyways,
You're right.
I don't need to
That's-
say that. I don't need to hate
It's not
on
the
this
worst.
guy.
Just making
no,
money
no, no.
playing basketball.
Which is great. Yeah.
Pretty soon we'll be making money talking about basketball. Just kidding.
I hope we get to talk about basketball and fun things in the future. But it was pretty rough. It was pretty
Mhm.
hard to watch the last few games of the season. We had every opportunity to make the tournament. Like I was saying earlier, we had the net ranking to be, one of those last four in probably. If we beat USF, FAU, and then UTSA at home.
I mean, I think that might be our worst loss since we started college.
UTSA at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
I don't know if I can comment on
We
that.
lost
Is
to
that
North Texas Community College. Let's not forget that.
When?
AKA UNT.
on the road this year.
Dude, have you
Oh,
seen
UNT, yeah.
UTSA's basketball court?
No.
Huh.
My 60-year-old middle school gym, I think, has a better basketball facility.
So we were
than
talking about last
UTSA.
week.
Yeah.
Is the courts in some of these stadiums. I looked, like we're like right below Baylor. Like we're right in the realm.
Yeah.
There are some in the like 1,200, 2,000 range of stadiums.
That's crazy.
It's insane.
Like that's
Yeah.
just big high
Dang.
school.
Exactly. I mean, it is high school.
At that point,
It's just high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Community college. I do think though, like we're talking about what we think should happen. What do we think is going to happen? Because just based on our history, I would be surprised if we made a move with the coach. I really don't think
I would
we
I would
are.
I
also
don't-
be surprised.
Yeah, I don't think Lanier's going to go, unfortunately.
So what do we think Lanier needs to do if he stays? Let's try to be positive.
I get out there and recruit.
Yeah.
I mean-
he needs to pick up some transfers.
Yeah, like heavy. We need a lot.
Yeah.
This
I'll-
is
I'll
what
give
Red has
Lanier
done
this.
so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is get transfers. Fran Fraschilla talks about this all the time in the Big 12. Is the best basketball talent, some of the best, maybe not the best, but some of the
Yeah.
best is right here in the Metroplex.
Yeah.
And we're not recruiting the same way that we are
No.
in football.
Like, football's whole marketing deal, they're putting up billboards in hometowns of kids from DFW, promoting them coming to
Yeah.
SMU. I haven't seen any of that with basketball.
Yeah,
It's
I
all
think the
football
first year
players.
they put up
Not
a
a single
couple
Maybe,
basketballs,
yeah. But
but it hasn't been since.
they're not leaning into it.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
The marketing for basketball isn't nearly as good as it is for football.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Not even close. And maybe it's just like a manpower thing. They just want to focus on one. But if we want to be taken seriously in the ACC, I feel like we should at least be good at two sports. I mean, we're good
Yeah.
at soccer too. So
Yeah, but
no,
Honestly,
no
ACC
comment.
is
No
kinda-
comment.
ACC is kind of a soccer conference. I'll say it.
yeah, we're also missing baseball, which was another thing
Yeah.
we talked about. I would love
And,
to.
and
have
I
a
think
baseball
because
team, but
we're missing baseball, we have to have a really good basketball.
I agree.
program.
I agree. Yeah.
And ACC
fair.
schools have really good baseball programs. We can't we're missing out on the baseball exposure, the baseball like athletics. When you're thinking of the future of like conference realignment is going to stay, right? Conference realignment is going to continue to happen. Not having a baseball program is really going to hinder us. So we can't just have a good football program. We need a good football program and at worst a mediocre basketball program.
Agree.
Yep.
I'll give Rob Lanier this. I think he's trying to play that Houston basketball, right? Like long, tall guys who get rebounds, play defense, play really physical. And I'll give him this of like our roster isn't really designed, I think, to play that way. So if he comes back next year, let's say we get two more guys that are long and maybe a guy who can shoot threes and maybe we get a little bit of an increase in production from Phelps, I can see us potentially being a little bit better. But my biggest fear in that is as we attract a little bit more talent, our program is, let's say we're like the 12th best team in the ACC, which I think would be a goal for the basketball program. It's just a dead end place to be in, because I don't think Rob Lanier has the coaching talent and the coaching chops to really like have the talent that we have and increase the production of the talent. That's just where I'm at. And I think that's what Jank did well. I think Jank did as good of a job as he could with the talent that he had. He just couldn't recruit anymore. And I think he's a great X's and O's, but he had some poor coaching decisions that he made.
I've got a funny story.
Rob Lanier, I don't see good X's and O's.
On offense, especially.
Yeah.
100%.
I've got a funny story about Jank. So I remember it was my freshman or sophomore year. You know, they've got the mob squad or whatever, and there was this kind of like meet the team mob squad type deal at the beginning of the school year where they had a bunch of people come in and like they had the team come out and some of them spoke and Jank spoke and stuff. And Jank was like introducing the guys on his team and he didn't know the names of everyone on the team.
Jeez.
That's a big yikes. Especially, I mean, football is different, right? Like you have like 1,000 players, but in basketball you have
10
like
guys.
You've got like 10 main
15
guys.
players.
Yeah.
That is horrible.
That is bad.
One
That's
time
a
I was
bad
taking
look.
a walk, like around like right by SMU, and I see Jank just like on the phone by himself and parked in the middle of a park by himself, like talking on the phone. And then I'm taking a walk and I like look over and we meet eye contact. And then I look away and then do a double take. I was like, I think that was Jankovic.
He goes to the same
Really,
gym
it
as my buddy Juan. Like
Same
he sees
gym?
Yeah, he sees him every once in a while in the gym. Apparently, he still lives around here.
Oh, wow.
So, but his son is playing for Kansas now. Did y'all see that?
Oh, that's cool.
Really? Oh, that's cool.
Couldn't get him here.
Couldn't get him to come to SMU. Wonder why.
I do
But I will
think
say this though, Emery Lanier, I'm kind of a fan of. I mean, he's a good bench player.
Yeah.
I want him to stay.
He had the only fire
yeah, in that last
on
game.
Thursday.
Yeah.
He
Only
was
passion.
the only
show
person that was
passion.
playing. Yeah. Who was it that said, yeah, he's like playing like his dad's job
Yeah,
depends on
I
it?
think that was yeah. He was.
He looked
was,
like that.
He was fighting.
Yeah.
I respect it.
I will say I think I agree with what you're saying, Brian, is like I've seen this I'm a big Man United fan. I've seen this with like coaches in the past in other sports really where like they're just mediocre enough to keep their job, which is sometimes it's like maybe it's better if we just fall apart so that we can just start over
Exactly.
rather than stay like mediocre, because that's exactly what we did with Jank. Like we were just like, we're okay,
Good
we're not
enough.
great, and then he stays for too long, whereas it's like we could ascend if we made a move, and I think
Yeah.
I could see that happening with
Because then you
with
think like,
Lanier
oh,
too.
maybe they could do it. Maybe we could be good next year.
Yeah.
There's enough what ifs.
Yeah, definitely.
Rick, we cannot. We need to make moves.
right now.
Please.
Rick, we're more experienced than you are. We know more than you.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, I've been the Fire Rick Hart camp for
Oh,
a few years now.
I do think that died down a lot recently, but
Yeah, no,
that
he's doing
definitely
good.
was a thing. Rick, if you want to come on the pod and tell us like
I would love
why, let's
to
do
speak-
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Let's
for
do
sure.
it.
Absolutely.
that'd be fun. Well, do we have any other basketball points?
I think I have one more thing.
Yeah, go for it.
This is basketball related, but not really. I think whoever we employ as the hairstylist for our for our team, we need to fire him right away. I think that might be the biggest problem.
Wait, are you saying the basketball team has its own hairstylist?
No,
I
I'm just
guess
saying
everyone has a bad haircut. that's what you're saying.
whoever the barber is, especially for Zerk Phelps, it just doesn't look good. Like the hairline is he brought it up even further. And again, these are the things that nobody talks about. Well, in general, but for me, that I don't talk about if the team is winning. So it's like I have to think of something to talk about.
That's true. You're getting picky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably be picky anyways, but
Well, yeah.
I'm just a jerk.
It is.
I'm just being a jerk to him for no reason. He's fine.
Gotcha. I've got one just to completely change subjects.
Okay,
Unless you
yeah.
want to talk about something else.
We can enter our sponsor ad right here.
Which one?
Too many of
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Who would you like to sponsor the pod? Personally, I would love
Shugs.
Shugs. That's a great option.
Yeah.
Lakewood Brewery, their Pony Pills
That'd be great.
beer. That'd be
If
awesome.
we were drinking.
Could you imagine? I mean, Probably not in here, but when we have our own studio,
when we're not in Fondren Library.
yeah, shh. We're not enrolled. We're not supposed to be in.
Sorry. That's what we call the back room at Walker's house.
Yeah. We're at my house, guys. But just imagine just like Pony Pill sitting right there. I'm gonna turn this into a reel and send it to Liquid Brewery right after the show.
Liquid, sponsor us. Pony Up Pills.
Anything
Let's
else?
go.
What about Burger House? So we could just eat burgers while we're on here. Do you guys like Burger House? Because I was talking.
I haven't been there in years.
I was talking to Drew and he hates it, but I think it's so good. I like it.
I like Burger House.
I'd like to, I'd like to go back, but every time I drive by, I see a bunch of like Highland Park high schoolers in there, and I'm like, nah. Not
There
today.
are other locations though. There's one on Lower Greenville, but
yeah.
Anyways, I think it's a good burger, and it's like an
Actually
SMU
never been.
thing. Really? That's what
never been.
Yannick was.
Really?
We took him on Friday. He liked it.
Yeah, it's pretty
Wait,
good.
Jay, did you say you've never been?
No, I've never been
You went to SMU and you never
You've
Went to
never
Burger
been
Shack.
to
House.
Burger Street.
Burger House.
Burger House.
Burger House.
Burger House
On Hillcrest.
On
On
Hillcrest.
Mockingbird. Or
Hillcrest.
Hillcrest. Yeah.
Hillcrest,
What about
yeah.
Bubba's? You've been to Bubba's?
Oh, yeah, I've been to
Okay.
Bubba's.
I love Bubba's.
I've never heard anyone talk about Burger House until now.
Are
Really?
you serious?
I thought that was
Yeah.
like an SMU
Dude,
thing.
it's like a
Highland
SMU
Park,
Yeah.
SMU, like yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
Brian, we were friends in college. Why didn't you take me? You never even talked about it in college.
We live right down the street from it.
Exactly.
Yeah. We three of us went without you all
Yeah.
the time.
I get it.
So, anyways, completely changed subject. I think now is time to start our section of
Yes.
bashing TCU.
Yes.
Okay, great.
I had an idea of, I think, us sharing a moment where like our hatred for TCU was like really solidified. If you even have that moment. I know for me, I've got, going to SMU, obviously they're a rival, but I had family that went there. I was like, yeah, it's a rival, fun to like be against each other, have, someone to, fight against, whatever. But I like didn't like hate them. I was just, oh, they're our rival, whatever. But then,
Then what?
you know what they did? We had the best season we've had since the 80s. And they said, we want that coach, Sonny Dykes. And he went over there. And that made me furious. My hatred for them wasn't solidified by then, though, because I knew Rhett was coming. I'm like, all right, I like Rhett. This really sucks that Sonny left, but we had no win November. Whatever.
That's true.
Next year, battle for the Iron Skillet at home, and they just beat us.
Yeah.
And it was a terrible day.
That really
It was
sucked.
hot. After that moment, I remember I was on the phone with Brian. I was talking to Brian. I don't know if you remember this, but I was literally like, the way I felt, I was like, I will literally do anything I have to do to make sure that something like this never happens again. I will do anything I possibly can to make sure SMU football is the best team it can be. And after that moment, family goes to TCU. Never spoken to him since.
Nice.
I'm kidding. Where am I? Anyways,
Yeah.
I mean, Walker, I kind of
know that
agree
guy.
with you. Honestly, when I was in school, I was like, I kind of like TCU. Like I was like, I want them to be good because if they're good, and I hope the SMU is good, it makes both the schools better, right? It makes the rivalry more important. And that's kind of what I cared about. I knew people that went there. I thought it was a pretty cool school. Whatever. When Sonny goes there, I was like, okay, like this actually could be really great for the rivalry. Like when TCU was going on their run, and when they're playing Michigan, I was like, I kind of want TCU to beat Michigan because it kind of it's like in a backwards way of like
you're losing me, Brian.
like,
you're losing me, man.
Like it makes our rivalry better, right? Like, hey, when our rival school is doing well and we do well, like that's great for both of us, and it gives the small private school a path into the college football playoffs. For me, when Sonny goes up there and he basically says we're no longer going to play SMU, that's when I was like, okay, this guy, I got. Well, now I actually hate him. Like I hope him and his family never move back to Dallas. I hope him and his family never move back to Highland Park. And I think it's very well documented that his whole family loved Highland Park. I hope he never is able to come back.
Yeah, I agree. I hope.
Or else
I hope
we will do something to his house.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
we will not. For legal reasons. For legal reasons, we will not do
Also,
anything.
just for regular reasons, we will not do
Yeah,
it.
well, that too, maybe.
However, I will say I know some kids from a place that live in Highland Park who could maybe throw some eggs or something at their house. You know? They would do that. I'm just kidding. They honestly they would though. If you know, you know.
We are not affiliated with Ben.
Yeah. Who's this guy? Jay.
Um,
I know you were on the band, and so that
I
has a whole
hate
nother.
TCU.
Yeah.
preach.
Oh, I hate TCU.
Always.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, always. Purple's an awful color.
Yeah.
Why
We
did you
did-
like that?
Yeah, we spoke about this.
Yeah, when they came in to the Big 12 initially, like I grew up a Tech fan, and so when they came into the Big 12, I was like, oh, okay, like neat, like a school from Fort Worth, great, whatever.
Yeah.
And then, Tech beat up on them for a while. That was a pretty good rivalry. They'd go back and forth, but 2017 when we went to Fort Worth that year, and they beat up on us like 56 to 30 something. I don't know.
No, it was a good game though.
Was it?
It was. I went to the game.
It
At
was-
halftime, they had like a Hail Mary pass that Cortland Sutton I think could have had a chance to knock down, but they catch it, and then we were down going into halftime, and then they took it away in the second half.
So anyway, that was the game that was like, it sucked. They used to put the band, TCU used to put the away band in the lower corner, like in the corner of the bowl, like right where the students are, like the SMU students sat last time we were there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they realized that the acoustics of that was like incredible, that the away band sounded better than the TCU band. And so they decided to put the away bands up at the very top and like in the third deck. And so we were just up there baking the whole time. It sucked. And I had a rough night before that. It was just like, it was not a good day. And I was like, man, everyone around me hates TCU. So I'm totally jumping on this bandwagon of absolutely hating TCU.
Was this your freshman year?
That was my freshman year.
Okay.
Then the next year, we played TCU on a Friday night at home, and it rained
Rainy.
the whole time. The game was
entire time.
delayed like 2 hours or something like that.
So the field was flooded, right? No, is that why it was delayed?
I don't think it was I think it was lightning and thunder.
Oh,
I think the
okay.
field flooding happened like in the middle of a week at some point.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But yeah, that sucked. And then we lost that game as well. And then finally, in 2019, we go in and we win, and it was the greatest feeling.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And then in 2020, they were cowards and wouldn't play us.
Absolute cowards.
So it's just like one domino after another, right? And then 2021, we go and we beat them again. It's an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
And then they steal our coach.
Yeah.
Which really sucked.
When TCU loses to SMU, they fire their coach, and Sonny doesn't want to get fired. That's why he quit the
Facts.
rivalry.
Mm.
Yeah.
That
I would
makes
love to
sense.
see him get fired and then end up coaching at some high school somewhere.
Here-
Probably
here's-
wouldn't happen.
He should go
I
to
have a take.
Arkansas or something like that.
Yeah. yeah. You should go to Arkansas, take
Then go to
TCU's
Allen.
quarterback with him, and then go to, Allen or something.
I have a take.
Yeah.
I think Sonny Dykes' first season of going undefeated, making a national championship game, I think that actually is the best thing that could have happened to SMU fans for two reasons. Number one, it really it got our boosters to really pony up
It
a
did.
ton of money, right?
It did
And,
galvanize the
for
fan
us to
base.
get-
Yeah.
for us to get into the ACC, for us to pour money into the program. Number two, I think Sonny Dykes is gonna go anywhere between 6-6 and 8-4. That's like his sweet spot as a coach.
Yeah.
After
I hope
one
he goes
season.
6. I hope he goes 6-6 for the next 10 years, and TCU can't fire him because they had their best season of all time with Sonny Dykes.
Well, yeah, it's all downhill. Like you can't. The only thing they can do is win a national championship. It's not going to happen. So
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Knock on wood.
It's not going to happen.
Please, God.
yeah,
Don't
I
let
also-
that happen.
yeah. I also wanted to say, I've also another reason I hate them is because of just run-ins with their fans. Like in 2021,
Oh my gosh.
I was there with Yannick and Drew, and I was sitting next to a TCU guy, and he was like, "I bet your mom's so proud of you," because I went to SMU, and I was like, "Actually, yeah, she is. Thanks." And then he was asking us well, where do you guys work? Like he was trying to flex on where we worked, and I was in grad school at the time, but Drew and Yannick shared, And he kind of was like, oh, and he kind of stopped talking. And I was like,
Where did you think this was going to go? You're talking to SMU alum.
Was Drew wearing his Enron hat?
He probably was back then. Another thing too is like, another thing that made me really angry too was when, like you said, when they canceled the series and the fact that they were like, well, we've been helping out SMU by playing them for so long, and now we're tired. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? Like, we used to be in the same conference. Like, the only reason we are where we are is because of the death penalty. Like, it's not like we've always been inferior to TCU, and they all of a sudden like, oh, well, they've been helping us out for all these years, and they don't want to help us anymore. And I was just like, you're so like arrogant for no reason. Like, you've never won.
That's
anything.
so true.
It's just,
it's
just stupid.
The arrogance without any real backup or reason behind it is just so bothering to me.
I'm going to bring this way back to 1935, before any of us were alive.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Do it.
TCU claims a national championship in 1935. SMU does as well. But SMU beat TCU in 1935, but they still claim a national championship that year. It's like,
It's typical TCU.
exactly. They literally lost to us, and they still claim a national championship.
Yeah. It's really funny you bring this up going back, because I had a thought to also go back, and I didn't know if I wanted to bring it up, but since you're talking about it, I might as well talk about it. So if we look back 100 years, let's look at the seasons between SMU and TCU
In the 20s?
in 1924. SMU's 19, both in the Southwest Conference. Yep. SMU, our record was 5-1 and 4 ties, because I guess they didn't do overtime back then.
Right.
We were
4 ties.
4 ties. We were second in the conference behind Baylor. Guess who was last in the conference?
TCU,
baby. TCU. Yeah, they were 1-5-0.
Wow.
Wow.
What's the one?
Oh, wait, no, sorry. That was in the conference. They were 4-5-0 overall, but the one was to...
Yeah, they beat the Fort Worth women's football team.
Let's see.
Or were they in Waco back then? When did they move?
Who?
TCU.
They used to be in Waco?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I did not know
You
that.
didn't know that?
No, I think they were in Fort Worth. Let's see. They beat... Who was the team? Their 4 wins were against East Texas State, Daniel Baker, Oklahoma A&M, and Simmons? I don't know.
Simmons
Hardin Simmons? Or just
It
Simmons?
just says Simmons. Maybe that's before Harden came around. I don't know. But anyways, if 100 years ago is any measure of what this year will be like, I think SMU is going to be pretty freaking good, and TCU is going to suck.
It's the dream.
It looks like in 1910 they moved to Fort Worth.
Gotcha.
From Waco.
1895 to 1910 they were in Waco.
Wow.
Anyway. This is not fun facts about TCU corner. This is bash on TCU.
This is bash on TCU.
That's true. What are we
But
doing?
And I
For a
hate
second, for a
TCU.
second, I have a problem. I have a problem, honestly, with SMU right now, and this concerns TCU. I saw something that TCU raised their tuition by 8% this year, and
That's a lot.
SMU
That's a lot.
SMU only raised their tuition by 4%. Like, I think it's ridiculous.
We're
that-
still almost 9
that we're
grand,
that we're.
but
It's ridiculous that we're falling behind TCU in all metrics. Like, we
we're
should
still
be
ahead. We're still ahead.
We are- we
They're
do
just
charge-
making progress.
Yeah, we should be
They're
raising.
trying to
our-
catch up to us.
Faster
Yeah,
progress.
we should be raising our tuition by more than they do every year, just to prove to them how we're better than them.
As an alumni, totally agree. As a student,
Right?
that would suck.
That would
Yeah.
suck.
Yeah, until our kids start going. Then we're going to bring it back down.
Bring it down,
Facts.
but yeah, it's just TCU, man. Can't do it.
TCU.
I mean, you already know that they're sitting in their boards. They're like, we have to catch up to SMU. So they're doubling their increase year after year.
Right.
I mean, think about it. They went 5-7 this year. We went what were we? 11-2, 11-3.
Yeah.
I mean, they should be scared of us at this point. It doesn't matter what
Exactly.
conferences we were in. Like we won 6 more games. So did we win 11? Was it 10
Yeah,
and 3?
11.
No, we won
11 and
11.
3? Okay, that's what I thought.
Amazing. Well, you boys have anything else to talk about?
Yeah, I think it's time to fire Rob Lanier. Send him to TCU, actually. That'd be great.
Oh yeah, TCU.
Perfect.
steal Rob Lanier. I would be so mad.
Yeah, we all
We would be
so much.
so mad.
Please hire our basketball coach. Do the same thing that you
Steal
did with
him.
Sonny.
Yeah, steal him. Y'all will make a run in the tournament if you steal him.
That's
like
right.
you did with Sonny. The exact same thing will happen, for sure.
Mm-hmm. I think I have one more thing.
Go
Oh,
for
we
it.
got to talk about our tournament.
Yeah, that's what I
Oh
was gonna
yeah,
bring
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
we're gonna do a bracket challenge between the 5 of us probably.
Yeah.
And then whoever loses is gonna have to do something extremely embarrassing. We'll see how embarrassing. I'm pushing for more embarrassing than they are, but on the next
We're not
pod-
gonna wear a diaper on the podcast.
Okay.
That's a stupid idea. This is an audio
He said
experience
that, yeah.
with a little bit of
We
video.
don't- I'm trying to go viral up here, guys.
My idea was the loser has to sing the alma mater on the pod. We can even have a backtrack if you want, but
Yeah, my problem with that is then we're punishing the audience for listening. If they have to listen to me sing, that's rough.
Don't lose.
don't lose.
Yeah, don't lose.
Yeah. But
I think
we can brainstorm. Leave a comment if you have any ideas
Yeah.
for what our punishment would be for something that would be good to be on a podcast, because we're kind of at a loss here.
Yeah.
I like the idea of forcing you to sit out a week and then having your wife fill your place.
That is a good idea.
That would be funny.
I think all of our wives would be really funny forced to sit in and talk about SMU
Yeah.
sports for an hour.
That would be great.
Erica would burn this place down, honestly.
I might lose on purpose at that point, so I don't know. Like, I'd love to
just
see
to have
Lauren on
to
here.
see Lauren on here. Yeah.
I have no idea. She doesn't know anything about football, so that would be great.
I think the great
mean,
thing about
can we-
Erica coming on the podcast would be like
She would know, yeah.
she has the
She has her own-
knowledge to like just slice and, like,
Exactly.
make this thing
Yeah.
really. I think it'd be a great podcast if we had Erica on.
I think it would, yeah.
It would be cool if aside from this, we had like a wives only podcast, like episode anyways. Just like, that would be awesome. I don't know if they would do it. Probably not, but
They should.
that'd be great.
That would actually be really fun.
It would.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
if
think
you
it would.
subscribe to the Patreon, you can have
The
access to the
Patreon.
Wives Only podcast.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So give us ideas.
Yeah.
Also leave a comment. Give us a like or whatever.
Leave your
Subscribe.
comments on
Subscribe.
whether we should fire Rob or not.
Yeah. What do you think about Rob? What do you think about our thoughts? Also, there's a link on our Instagram, and the Instagram is at the Mustang Mood on Instagram. We also have a YouTube channel at the Mustang Mood as well, where we post reels, shorts. We post the entire pod on YouTube, so you can watch us if you want to see our faces, see what we look like.
Or like we were talking about
you're
last time, the very handsome men. on
yeah,
this
I
That's
mean,
right.
or if you're afraid of it like ruining your listening experience, knowing what we look like, then
Stay
don't.
away.
Yeah, stay
Yeah.
away. But listen on Spotify. You can leave us a voice memo on Spotify. There's a link, I think, in our Spotify bio, and then also on our Instagram, there's a link to it. You can leave like a 60-second voice memo, give us your thoughts, ask us a question, and we'll play it on the pod and we'll respond to it. We'll also, if you leave comments and stuff, we'll respond to those as well.
Yeah.
Live on the pod, so you can
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
get your little slice of airtime
Right.
if you want. But anyways, thanks for listening. Y'all have anything else?
No, I don't think so. I think that's it.
Nope.
No. All right,
If not,
sing the varsity. Get us out of here.
Oh, no.
let's
Thanks
go
for,
Pony
All
up.
right, Pony
thanks
up,
for listening,
everybody.
guys. Pony